Hey everybody, it's Abbye, and today I'm sitting down with Stephanie Lanier. She is a powerhouse realtor and the founder of the Inspiration Lab to talk about something every entrepreneur wrestles with: how to build genuine community while juggling business, family, and life. Stephanie opens up about the truth behind having it all, what it really takes to create deep connections, and why learning to ask for help might be the most powerful leadership skill of all. This conversation is honest, grounded, and full of wisdom for anyone trying to grow without burning out. You're listening to Business from Scratch, the podcast for people building businesses they love without losing themselves along the way. I'm your host, Abbye McGee. Let's get started. I have known about you for a long time, and I've known you for, I think probably when I started feeding you and your family is when I
Yes.
really started to know about you. But I have been an admirer from a distance for a while and just seen all the things you do. And so you were on the top of my list of people I wanted to bring in early for this podcast. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
I'm
for
so
coming.
glad to be here. This is fun.
Yeah. I have a lot that I want to ask you. I'm so excited. I I have people in the community, business owners, especially female entrepreneurs that I follow and just find inspiration. And I am so excited to ask you a bunch of questions today. So you're a realtor.
Yes.
But you also do so many other things. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a friend, you are in the community like most people don't have the capacity to be. You run the Inspiration Lab, which I'm super interested in. But just briefly tell me a little bit about you.
Oh my goodness. Like what part? I mean, I don't know.
Oh
What do you want to
gosh.
know?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm most interested in is, of course, real estate is super interesting to me, but I want to talk about community and networking
Yeah.
most specifically today. I think mainly because it freaks me out. And as an individual, I'm not a super extroverted person.
Yeah.
So thinking about how to get myself out into community and networking specifically is really overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
But I know that it's important. And I know it's important for everybody who owns a business, who wants to grow their business. It's kind of a necessity. So that's what I want to spend most of the time talking about today is that. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great question. And I think you don't have to be extroverted. In fact, I would say that sometimes extroverts, we have width, not depth. So it could
Mhm.
look like, whoa, you have so many connections. But it's like, well,
Mhm.
what how strong are those connections? And
Mhm.
so I think that sometimes introverts maybe their web isn't as big, but it is much stronger. So I think
Mhm.
that you need both. You want some width, but you really want to have strength and depth in your network as well. So and there's research about this. I don't know. I could probably find it. I don't know if you're going to drop links in the podcast, but there's a lot of talk about this about weak ties versus strong ties in your network and how
Mhm.
important it is to have strong ties, not just kind of these weak, broad ties. So when you call someone and say, hey, could you connect me with someone, like if you haven't talked to them in 2 or 3 years, even though you kind of know
Mhm.
them, that's a much harder ask than if you really have stayed connected.
Yes.
So I think my best advice for people who are trying to get deeper connections in their community is to join nonprofit boards for things you're passionate about. It's got to be authentic. It's got to be stuff you care about because you
Mm.
actually do work with people.
Right.
You're going to fundraise, you're going to put on events, you're going to deal with issues that come up, and you get to know them and you decide who you like.
Mhm.
And you literally share life with them, but you're doing things. You're not just like yapping about stuff or talking about things. You're
Mhm.
doing like almost like group projects, like you were in school again.
Yeah.
And it builds real relationships and it
Mhm.
builds real depth. And generally, you agree to a 3 year term or a 2 year term or something like that. So you have some time together. And generally, they're quality people because you don't get put on boards with people who haven't already been vetted too.
Mhm.
And they tend to be in a different industry than you. So you're not sort of like in this, silo with like all wedding people or all restaurant people or all real
Mhm.
estate people, which can sometimes happen. And generally, that's not a problem. You already know those people.
Mhm.
You need to kind of get out and
Right.
get into these other industries. So when I think about relationships that have meant so much to me and have helped me grow professionally and personally, but I would have never met these people. I mean, they don't live where I live in town. I'm not connected to them
Mhm.
otherwise. And they're meaningful,
Mhm.
like real friends. We've been on like a board of directors together about something we cared about, and we've had to go through some stuff, had to make some decisions, we've had to do some work. So I know their character and I know
Mm.
who they are, and we're all invested with each other, and we've put in a lot of hours together.
Hmm. So how do you find yourself on a board of a nonprofit? Is that something that you start working with a nonprofit on a lower level and see if it's a good fit, and then you assert yourself into
Yeah.
a voting process or whatever?
Yeah, I think it depends on how the nonprofits run, but a lot of times there are committees. Like you might start with like just a nonprofit, like if they're a nonprofit event. So maybe they have
Hmm.
like a once a year fundraiser and you volunteer for it just to kind of see like, do I like how this is run? Do I like the
Hmm.
people who are on staff? Do I like the other board members? And ask around too. Like if you are really interested in charities around the environment, around animals, plural, I should say, the environment, arts are really struggling
Hmm.
right now. I mean, it's been a really hard time for arts, for museums, whatever your heart is drawn to. I mean, the stuff
Hmm.
I always say, like, if it makes you cry, that's a good place to start.
Hmm.
Um, they're in desperate need right now of leaders, of business owners. If you run a business, you know how to read a P&L statement, you understand the financials.
Hmm.
Nonprofits are different but similar. They are really looking for people who get that because they've got to fundraise, they've got to write grants, they've got to go out and get money. Federal funding has been cut for nonprofits. So they really, really are looking for fresh new ideas, connections. So whether you're on a committee, whether you join the board, whether you just start to get involved and see like if you want to do this, I would say I would probably give it a good year to 2 years before I would join a board for a full term. Sometimes there's like a 1 year appointment where you can kind
Hmm.
of just like check it out before you kind
Hmm.
of really sign yourself up.
Hmm.
They're all set up differently. Um, yeah, and you kind of get involved and see what you think about it and you learn. You learn
Hmm.
so much. I mean, I look back, I've probably been on nonprofit boards now for like 12 or 13 years and I've learned so much and I've grown so much in the different roles that I've taken on. But yeah, so many of my friendships kind of go back to that are unique and helped me grow my network beyond like
Hmm.
neighborhoods, just obvious stuff like
Hmm.
kids stuff. Because when you're talking to other moms, like you can't really talk, like the kids are running out.
Right.
You're having like these what's the word? Conversations that are just like disjointed or stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Mid sentence, like
Right.
you got to run. Phone's ringing. Kid needs something. You don't really get like
Hmm.
depth.
Right.
And so you know them, but do you know them?
Right. And as an entrepreneur, it's so helpful to have deep friendships with other entrepreneurs and not,
Yes.
I mean, I have lots of friends who don't own their businesses and they are valuable friends to me, but you also need the people who know what you're going through and who have been there and
Yes.
can, be a part of the keeping going.
Yeah, know what it's like to meet payroll every 2 weeks. Like that
Right.
is hard.
Yes.
And to just say like and know what you're going through or like I remember the first time I had to fire someone, like everybody remembers the first time they ever had to do that. And it's awful.
Mhm.
And it is like one of the worst experiences of your life and it does get easier and nobody
Mhm.
wants to you never start a business wanting to fire someone. Like that is
Mhm.
never something you ever want to have to do, but you have to do it.
Mhm.
Um, and it's also a great joy when you found great talent and how fun that is and what a joy that is. And like the ups and downs of just like managing people is hard. And I don't care how amazing your training was, or most of us have no training in that. And just that journey, like having somebody to
Mhm.
share that with, like your ups and your downs, but especially your ups.
Mhm.
It's like to call a friend and say, like, I have an amazing new client or I have a great new opportunity. I'm
Mhm.
so excited. Like somebody who really gets that.
Right, and can celebrate that with you because they know
Yeah.
what it took to get
Right.
that.
Yes,
Mhm.
they know how hard it was. I mean,
Mhm.
my friends who don't have businesses love me
Mhm.
they wanna celebrate, but I don't they don't necessarily know exactly what I've been
Mhm.
through. In the same way, I don't know exactly what they've been
Mhm.
through in the
Mhm.
way that they're living their lives. And
Right.
that is just I have a kind of core group of women friends who own businesses and man, we can celebrate things in like just a way that is just so, so special and also help
Mhm.
hold each other together when things feel like they're fallen apart in special kinds
Mhm.
of ways, you
Mhm.
know? And, every once in a while I'll say like, "Hey, do we wanna, like, go somewhere and get, like, paid vacation?" And just go like, "What's PTO?"
Right.
Like, an away message that's really an away message. Like, it count? Like, somebody actually is, like, doing your, like, covering your emails and stuff, like,
Uh-huh.
we've never had that, but then we always say like, "No, but that's not for us," and we kind of, like, can talk each other off the ledge, but,
Mhm.
yeah, just like a place to be real and connect,
Mhm.
so I think nonprofit boards have been a great way to connect with that. I'm involved with the Chamber of Commerce, which obviously has a decent amount of people who own their own small businesses, although it has big businesses too. So those kind of places have been good places to plug in. And then
Mhm.
also, I would say the third thing, nonprofit boards, Chamber of Commerce, because it's a place where businesses connect, and then leadership programs. So Leadership Wilmington is run through the Chamber of Commerce. Leadership Wilmington is its own like nonprofit entity. Um, I did a leadership program through the Realtor Association, but those also draw leaders sometimes who are entrepreneurs, but also are just leading in companies. They're
Mhm.
leading, maybe they're the CEO, but maybe they're a senior vice president, but they're used to like being in charge, leading companies, needing to make decisions. And I think that's
Mhm.
also part of it is like finding yourself around people who are decision makers,
Mhm.
who have to decide quickly, high stakes. Other people's lives are like hinging on the decisions they're going to
Mhm.
make, and they have to
Mhm.
live with that. Those friendships are like really important to
Mhm.
me. They get it. We don't have to talk about that all the time, but you just know
Mhm.
if you need to bounce something off of them, they're going to get it. They're going to support you.
Mhm.
And those are just like treasured friendships.
Mhm. So you started the Inspiration Lab kind of for this purpose, right? And I know it was built around this need and this desire to gather women specifically
Yeah.
who were dealing with the challenges of motherhood and being a spouse and running a business and all of the challenges with that. So how long ago did you start Inspiration Lab? And just tell me what that's meant to you and to the members. I have I'm going to come to an event
Yeah.
soon. I haven't yet because I do get overwhelmed with like the social aspect of networking, but I recognize the importance of it
Yeah.
and needing to kind of get out of your little bubble of being in your office all the time with your staff. But talk to me a little bit about the Inspiration Lab specifically and what that's meant to you as a business owner and how you've that has helped you grow as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a business owner.
Yeah, I started 10 years ago,
Mhm.
and it was because I was going to all these real estate conferences, and
Mhm.
there were a lot of mostly men on stages saying like, "I'm crushing it," and I'm like, real estate's just, I love my colleagues, but we are like, we're a special breed. Everybody's always talking about also like I sold 50 million, which makes us sound like everybody's millionaires. That's just not
Mhm.
true. Like the
Yeah.
math on like you got to back out the math on that.
Mhm.
Anyway, everyone seemed to, when I was first in the real estate business, just be doing so well. And on stage, they were crushing it, but I knew it
Mhm.
was crushing them.
Mhm.
And I was like, I have a mental health background. So I have a master's degree in clinical social work. So I was training to be a therapist before I became a mom. So I had done a lot of therapy. I had kind of seen what was behind. I knew if you pulled the curtain back on these people on these stages, like stuff was hard.
Mhm.
And the price that not everyone, but a lot of them were paying. And I thought, where can I talk about this? Where can I get real about the price of some of these choices,
Mhm.
and maybe this is right for me, maybe it's not. And I also
Mhm.
had a medically fragile child. Oliver has special needs. He has autism. He has epilepsy. And I needed to figure out how to kind of juggle it. What were other people
Mhm.
doing? What were ideas?
Yeah.
Also, this kind of what we talk about now, it's very common, but back then nobody was talking about hidden labor. Like, you guys bring meals for me almost every
Mhm.
week, and I have
Mhm.
somebody who cleans my house every 2 weeks. Like, nobody was talking about that from the stage. They were getting tons of help. They had full-time assistants. They had folks who were
Mhm.
helping them. So these women or these teams that were doing, like my team is doing as far as volume, like lots of deals, were having a lot of support. There was a
Right.
lot of administrative support. There was a lot of support at home. A lot of times the spouses were partially staying home or were part of the teams, but nobody was talking about that.
Right.
Now I know, but I didn't know then. I was like,
Right.
wait, are they five people in one?
Right.
So the Inspiration Lab was a chance to get together and just be like, okay, everybody cut to the chase. Is your mama coming to help?
How are
You got
you
a au
really making
pair?
this
What
work?
is really happening?
Yes. Yes.
And that was so helpful. And just
Mhm.
saying, look, there's a million ways to do this. There's no right way, but if we could just all tell the truth, it would help everybody feel better.
Oh,
And
I
we can
love
just like
that.
take a deep breath, like,
Mhm.
okay. And then, like, if you're a single parent, or maybe your spouse is in the military and they're gone all the time, or whatever is happening in your life, we can all just kind of learn from each other, but also not have these illusions, sort of like
Mhm.
Oz, you know what I mean? Like when you peel back the curtain, you're like, oh, that's what's
That's
happening.
how they do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Yes.
And here's potentially healthy ways for you to do it. So you know, you don't like spontaneously combust. So that was great. We got together. And now it seems so obvious. I mean, I know this sounds so dumb 10 years later, like personal and professional are connected, but that was like a wild idea 10 years ago. And
Mhm.
also, love the folks at Wilma and Greater Wilmington Business Journal. Wilma was also pretty new with networking, and the Leadership Accelerator was started 10 years ago too. So
Mhm.
right when Inspiration Lab was starting, that was starting as well. So there weren't as many leadership programs or networking events for women. So I was like, how can we just get women together to talk?
Yeah.
That's all I needed to do was just kind of talk, and also different industries. So I was hanging out with a lot of realtors and mental
Mhm.
health people, two
Mhm.
really great crops of people.
Mhm.
But I wanted to get the other,
Mhm.
where are the engineers? Where are the wedding people? Where are the writers? Where are all the different folks in town. So we kind of started doing that. And then we've done all kinds of stuff. We've done workshops and meetups and book clubs and small business squads. And I don't know, anything that we kind of dream up, we just try. And sometimes it
Mhm.
works so well.
Mhm.
And one time I had an event where no one showed up.
Oh.
And that was really sad. I had everything laid out. It was this was when we did some kind of book club. I had all the wine bottles open, and we were in a different building back in the day. And the lady who was there in the office, she was doing some cleaning, and she'd come early, and she was like, "I'll be real quiet for when the people come." So I checked like my time, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Well, maybe they're coming at like 5:30 instead of 5." So like check the email, but like no, for sure it was 5. So like wait till 5:30, and she's like, she comes in there and she's like, "Honey, this is so beautiful." She was like, "I'm sure that you have the wrong day." And I was like tears in my eyes. I was like,
Aw.
"I know I don't have the wrong day." I was like, "Just nobody wanted to come." And I like had my little business book, like with all my tabs in it, and like all my highlights. And it
Mhm.
was just like so discouraging. And I was just like, I don't know, like, am I going to keep doing this? Like, is this like worth doing? And so it's like, we have events that sell out, and then you have stuff where you're like, that didn't land.
Mhm.
That didn't
Mhm.
work. Like, there are plenty of things that you're going to like put yourself out there and do that just do not connect. Maybe
Mhm.
it's a bad day. Maybe it's like whatever. And then sometimes you see people will see stuff and they're like, oh, everything that you do works. It does not. Like we try all kinds of different
Yeah.
events. Sometimes we have things that
Yeah.
work, sometimes we don't, but you just keep trying, right? You
Yeah.
keep showing up and wanting to serve the community of women. So it's been really special. We have hundreds of women who have come. I mean, probably at this point, maybe I don't know. We haven't counted. Lots of women who come to our events, and it's a really special community that's just sort of evolved and grown. And now we're in our second decades. We'll see
I love it.
where it takes us.
I love I love how you started that to answer this question by saying just the practical things that help make a successful businesswoman. And it's not just can you land the deal and can you convert the lead. It is all the other things that have to happen so that you can convert that lead. And yeah, everything looks bright and shiny online and look at this successful person. I mean, in my business, because my business is support for a lot of very successful business leaders, right? So I go into people's homes to be that support, and I see all the other ways that they're being supported with their landscapers and their cleaners and their nannies and their dog walkers and so many ways that you need to take things off your plate so that you can focus. And I think that's across the board, even in your business, in your administrative office. What are you
Yes.
taking off your plate so that you can do those things that push your business forward? I get bogged down in it still. I was on a phone call this morning trying to figure out the whole world of like virtual assistants and how can I get some support so that I can keep moving forward. And if you try and do everything yourself and you're trying to still clean your toilet and make mac and cheese at night and fold all your laundry, like you're only one person. So
Right.
making that kind of normalized for people and they see how it can push their business and their life forward, I think is so valuable.
It is. And it's not that it's not that you're too good for it or you can't do it, right?
Mhm.
Like I
Right.
mean, I we can still do all of those things. It's just
Mhm.
what is the highest and best use of your time? That's also what we
Mhm.
ask in real estate when you're in residential, but especially in commercial. What's the highest and best use of this land, right? But also your
Mhm.
time. So when you in business, this is a much more understood concept. Like in a business, if you're the CEO or the leader, what can only you do?
Right.
What can only my administrative assistant do? There are things
Mhm.
that Lisa on my team is the only person who can do that. So no one else should take her away from those tasks. Like she is
Mhm.
gifted, allowed to, has access to very specific special things in our
Mhm.
company. She needs to be doing those. Other people shouldn't take her away from that. Like that's
Mhm.
critical to me and the success of our whole team, and everybody
Mhm.
knows that. In the same way, that's true for me in certain things. Like everyone on our team has those special things, right? So that makes sense in a company. It's also generally the same in a household. Like those are the
Mhm.
sorts of things. Um, but like only you can be the mom to your child. Only you
Right.
can be the wife or the husband or the spouse to your partner. A lot of people can do laundry.
Mhm.
Like a lot of people can.
Mhm.
So if you can let that go, then you can let that go. But there's just
Mhm.
certain things that only you can do, and you have to sort of decide what that is. Obviously, this is a financial luxury for a lot of us.
Mhm.
And for some people, it's not the financial luxury. It's got to let it go. Like, do your underwear really need to be folded that way? Like, you know what I mean?
Nope,
Like,
you can shove that back in
it's
the
fine.
back of the drawer and
It's
it's
fine.
fine.
I
They're
think
gonna
that
wear just fine the next day.
exactly, exactly. I think for us, when our son Oliver, when he's been sick a few times. He had cancer in 2018. He's had brain surgery. He's had a lot of medical issues. And when we've gone through that, I really feel like it's been a lesson from God of like just stripping us away of any of that sort of illusion of like it has to be a certain way.
Mhm.
During those times, you truly, as God is my witness, you could have come in and done my laundry. I wouldn't have cared. If you came in and you said, you know what, I'm going to clean your house today. You need help. We were so desperate, one for him to make it, but also for just to get through.
Mhm.
We knew we couldn't do it. It was like trying to like sort of do life alone. It was impossible. Like
Mhm.
everything was so hard that you just you must receive support from your village. You
Mhm.
you, you can't not.
Mhm.
And I think if you've never been brought to your knees like that, there's a lot of pride in your life. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. And
Mhm.
until I don't know, once or twice, you have to have a life experience like that till you're like, yeah, you know what? It's just a house. It's just laundry. There's
Yeah.
nothing fancy about anybody's house here or
Mhm.
anybody's laundry. I don't care who you are,
Right.
how famous you are. Um, we're all in many ways the same, and people really do want to show up and love you and care for you and
Mhm.
really be there to do things. And letting people love you is a form of like wisdom and humility. It also allows you to show up and know how to love and care for other people.
Mhm.
And it makes you a great friend. And it does, to your point, allow you to grow your network because
Mhm.
you now know how to be that kind of person in many ways
Mhm.
because you've allowed yourself to receive that kind of care. And so I think there's like a really beautiful thing about that too. So yeah, I think that's been part of in some ways the growth of my network and community is like allowing myself to be vulnerable when appropriate. I think that you can kind of overdo that too and overshare, but also then show up for other people too. And I think that's part of the kind of piece of like, okay, only I can do certain things for Oliver medically, but there are a lot of things that a lot of people can do for us to help support
Mhm.
us. And because of the sort of extraordinary life we've been given, both in beautiful ways and in hard ways, I've just been stripped of all of that. I'm like, yeah, lots of
Mhm.
people can cook a meal.
Yeah.
Let's let them,
Yeah.
come on. You want to do the
Mhm.
laundry? Come on.
Yeah. Do you feel like people have a hard time saying yes to help because, well, business owners in particular are, you get this idea in your head that I need to do this. I can do this. I can do everything. I need to do everything. I've gotten stuck in that a
Yeah.
couple of times, and even like in my hiring in my businesses, I'll wait till the last minute because no, I can do it. I can do it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Um, do you see that in a lot of the women who come to your Inspiration Lab events specifically, that they're holding on to things because they think that they need to be the one to do it, or they can't justify it, or, what's the
Yeah.
barrier?
I think there's like two things. I think like one is that you haven't hired the right person yet. Cause when you hire the
Mhm.
right people, they'll blow you away. You're like, oh, I can never do it that great.
Mhm.
Like Lisa, who I was referencing, she's amazing. Like, I mean, when she does certain things, I'm like, why did I ever try to do this? Like, she's so good. She's so
Mhm.
smart. Victoria, who's on my team, she's doing a lot of the staging for us, and she's just so darn good. I'm like, why am I even messing with this? Like,
Yeah.
she's so talented. Pam, who's on our team, is first of all, she's just wise. Like when Pam doesn't talk very often, when she does, you're like, truth bomb. Like everybody just like
Mm.
sits there and they're just like, let us just
Mhm.
receive the words from Pam. Like when you've got great people and you've hired the right people, they should shine real bright if you're letting them do what they need to do. I mean, you got to release them and give
Mhm.
them the opportunity to shine. But my goodness, you should be like, wow, they're doing things so well that you should be proud of them. You should allow them to sort of do
Mhm.
what they need to do, and it should allow your business to grow exponentially. So I think that's number one. Number two, I think I'm always telling people this: we're not in school anymore. Nobody's going to be the valedictorian. We do not need an A plus. Nobody's getting 100 anymore.
Mhm.
We decided in our business most things we can B plus it. We need a B plus. We still want to be on honor roll. Like most of us
Mhm.
are kind of like, we like to perform well. But getting a 100 on everything is just exhausting.
Mhm.
And I actually don't struggle with perfectionism as much, I think, as my team does. And I think some of that's because they want to make me happy.
Mhm.
But I'm like, you have done this so perfectly that we have slowed down so many other projects. could you please B plus it, which for you probably means in your head a B minus, but like we just need to speed this up. And when we
Mhm.
look at our other colleagues, they're like C plusing it and leapfrogging us because they're moving faster in their
Right.
business. Because frankly, like most things in adulthood are like good enough is fine. Now,
Mhm.
none of us, you're not in a business and I'm not in a business where we're like cardiac surgeons or something. So, I
Right.
mean, please, if someone's
Right.
listening, like, don't kill anybody. But
Don't
most of
don't C
us are
plus
like,
your surgery.
we are not medical professionals. So
Right.
they need to A plus it every day. But thank God we're not doing that. Like,
Mhm.
we need to just relax a little bit. Nobody's trying to get a scholarship here to Princeton. We need to do a good enough job to get it done. But I mean, I think that has released so much stress from my team
Mhm.
of just saying like, we see contracts from other people and we're like, whoa, that's like a C minus and they still got that one through and we're not going to do work like that. But like, you know what? Seriously, if a T is not crossed, it's cool.
It's
It's
okay.
cool.
Let's
Let's
just get it
move.
done.
Let's just like get it done. So that has
Mm.
helped us too. And I think if you think about your business like that, however, there's probably about there's a certain list of things where it's like this must A plus. Like there are certain things that have to be done with the utmost accuracy and perfection and precision because of how they interface with our business. But it's like, look, if we're in an event, I don't know, and seriously, the arrows to the parking are not an A plus. It's okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
We people are adults, they will figure out where to park. But this is something that like at the Inspiration Lab event, we just had like my team was really stressed about not having enough arrows and instructions and things for people to park. And I was like, y'all, they're gonna figure it out.
It's okay.
You could actually C minus the parking, or we could have no arrows on that one. Let's let that
Mhm.
one go. And what do we even really need to A plus? Well, we really were trying to support children's cancer partners and really try to raise money for the sick kids. I was like, let's A plus that part.
Mhm.
Nothing else matters. Like that is our A plus. And everything else we will try to do a really good job. But I think the women who are coming are going to know why they're here. And let's just try to A plus the sick kid
Mhm.
supporting them part. And
Yeah.
everything else, let's just let it go. And that released so much from us. And we had a great
Mhm.
evening. So I think that's part of the leader's job, right? Is just clarification, supporting everyone. And then when you hire the right people and you really delegate and you give them the power they need to go once they've proven themselves, I mean, not day one, but over time, once you're getting to know them, that should feel really good. You should be
Mhm.
like blown away and just be like, how do I live without you? Like they should be indispensable. When they're
Right.
gone for like 3 days, like the world should be falling apart,
Oh,
basically.
I look at my whole team like
Like
that
I
and
can't
what
function.
yes.
I'm
Come
like, please
on.
come back.
I want you to go on vacation and I celebrate that,
I
but please
do.
come back.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm celebrating and your flight got delayed. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, and that's happened sometimes and
I'm
every
like, I'll
time
send a private driver. Please.
I need you back. Yes. I've had a lot of people traveling lately and I love that. But I always celebrate when they come back because no, you're right. Nobody can do it like they can, and
Yeah.
that's why you hire them. And there is so much of a leader's responsibility to evaluate priorities. Like what
Yes.
do we need to really hit it out of the park? What can we let slide? I let things slide every day.
You
So,
have to. And it's like, that's okay because we're not, there are certain
mhm,
jobs, industries where it's different, but the idea that everything is a priority is absurd. It's just like, you can't possibly do that, you
mhm,
know? And I think that, yeah, it's so important to figure that out. And people, I mean, your team needs that. They have to
mhm,
have that direction. They have to know what is important, especially because I'm sure for your team too, they love you, they care about you, they want to do a good job, they want to please you.
mhm,
And we don't have, because we're in leadership, I don't want to let my team down. That's a different kind of pressure, actually. Like that
mhm,
is like one of my greatest fears in life.
mhm,
But it's still a different kind of pressure that I think as much as I try to empathize with that, I don't think I can fully understand what that must feel like.
mhm,
Um, to not want to let my leader down because it's been a long time since I've been in that exact position. And so I'm trying to always really be sensitive to that and make sure that I'm giving clear direction. Because once they have clear direction, I can see how they will switch. When they're not clear and everything feels like a priority is when generally people start spinning out.
mhm. Okay, quick 30-second break while I tell you something that made a huge difference for me. I'm literally sitting in the Unfiltered studio right now. This place is a game changer. I knew there was no way this podcast was going to get done at home. I didn't want to deal with lighting, sound, all the other tech and distractions. Now I just prep and show up here. Everything's set up. I sit down and I feel like a total pro. If you're in Wilmington and need a space to record, visit unfilter.io or just search Unfilter Studio on Instagram and see it for yourself. If you had a brand new baby business owner
Yeah.
show up to Inspiration Lab, what are some of the first things you would try and help them to see and able to organize their priorities, look at what areas do they need to look at to push their business forward, that what are people, I guess, what are people getting stuck in?
Oh gosh. Can you even remember the beginning? Oh, so long ago.
It really wasn't that long ago for me, but it feels like 20 years ago, and it was only
Oh, you're
six-ish,
so
but
much newer. Yeah.
yeah.
I do think this is one of the things that is a little bit challenging. Like as I'm learning to golf, sometimes it's hard to get instruction from people who are like deeper into it
Mhm.
because getting mentorship sometimes from people who are further along can be hard. I guess what I'm trying to answer your question is to say it's hard for me sometimes to access the beginner's mindset because I'm
Mhm.
so deep into this thing.
Mhm.
Like business is very complex to me now. It's hard for me to return back to when it was simple, when there was a lot of white space,
Mhm.
when the P&L was like clean.
Clean, yeah.
When I go into QuickBooks and I open up like categories and accounts, I mean, it's kind of like Lisa and I tame it, but it's a bit of a monster. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
I think for me, if I can remember back how I felt in the beginning, a lot of my roadblocks were like I just I couldn't make decisions quickly because I would overthink it. I didn't
ah,
have enough information.
ah,
I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and
hmm,
who am I to like make these
ah,
decisions, right? Because
ah,
I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
ah,
So I still feel like that a lot, honestly,
yeah,
because I've been in it way less than, not as many years as you have. And so I still feel that. I still feel that who am I to be doing these things or giving this advice or saying these things to my team? And that was real strong in the beginning
yeah.
for me.
It's interesting. I think I probably struggled less with some of that because, like I said, my son was sick and I didn't have a choice. So that was such a gift to me because I was
Mhm.
like, if when I was learning to do real estate, if they said knock on 10 doors, I was going to knock on 20. I was like,
Mhm.
just stop, come at me. Like, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Tell me what I need to do. Like, I was like, the worst thing that could happen to me was losing Oliver, not losing a business. I didn't
Mhm.
care. I mean, I care about my business and I still care about it, but I was like, if I don't succeed at real estate, I'll try something else. I mean, I was sort of
Mhm.
in a mindset that I was like, if this is if this is not the path forward, there'll be another one.
Mhm.
This isn't who I am. But now it feels much more like an identity, but it was just
Mhm.
something I was going to try to
Mhm.
take care of my family. I think if you tap into your why, if you get a hold of the why
Mhm.
and you constantly hang on to it, a lot of that other stuff will fall away. And that I was just so partly because I was like living in a bit of a um survival mode, but I was so strongly anchored in that and not what other people were doing and all the stats about 90% of people quit in the first 2 years in real estate.
Mhm.
And then also what 85% of businesses fail in the first year one or whatever. I
Mhm.
just didn't care about any of that because I was just like, we're trying to keep our kid alive. I'm going to try to do this. And
Mhm.
if it doesn't work, I'll wait tables or clean houses or
Mhm.
go back to social work or something. Like
Mhm.
it will just, I will
It'll be
figure, I'm a
okay.
mother with a sick child. Try to stop me.
Yeah.
Bye. And off I went. So it's like if you're doing this for your family or you're doing it because it's your dream or whatever. I mean, like, look at the most successful people in any industry. There's something about them that's like unstoppable. There's something
Mhm.
about them that there's like a deeper conviction about why they're doing it because there's so much rejection, friction, confusion that's going to come at you. And I think
Mhm.
if there's just something about you that's like tethered to a deeper purpose, it connects. And I would say for my whole team, when I look at my whole team, of women and people even who come to the inspiration lab, they're looking for that kind of leadership. They're looking for that kind of person who they're like, okay, if we get blown around or whatever, you've still got that.
They're gonna be steady.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. I'm like, we will
Mhm.
figure this
Yeah.
out. Now, I mean, I'm planning on selling real estate. I'm planning on doing it this way, but y'all are coming with me and we will do what we need to do. And
Mhm.
even during COVID, when we thought, why would people buy a house? But they bought so many houses. But wasn't that wild?
That's
I
so
was like, I don't know if they're gonna
crazy.
buy houses, but y'all we will figure something out.
Mhm.
Um, I just think that's sort of how I just kept coming back to that. And because with Oliver, we had to make life or death decisions and we still do really rapidly, I have practice with that where I'm like, it's just business. Like, because I've had this extreme experience, then
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, sure, we can make a decision about this. We'll do this.
Mhm.
That's reversible. Almost everything in business that you're doing is reversible.
Yes. Yes.
Many decisions you make with healthcare are not.
Mhm.
Money fixes almost everything, but the things that can't, that is difficult and heartbreaking. But in business,
Mhm.
for the most part, you can make more money. You can come up with a new idea and you can make more money, and that will
Mhm.
rectify almost anything that you do in business. So that's a really good thing to think about. It can
Mhm.
feel stressful when you're running out of money, but you also can come up with a new idea to make more money. And
Right.
you can find new partners, new friends to do this with.
Yes.
So even in your darkest moments in business, you can think about that. When you have a really sick partner, friend diagnosis issue with yourself, that is a whole different gear you have to find to walk through.
Mhm.
But business isn't like that. I feel like in many ways, business is like my escape. I'm like, contracts follow this order.
Mhm.
A P&L you read this way. You can
Mhm.
hire employees, you can let them go.
Yeah.
Like business is so,
Yeah, so shifting your perspective to where your business is not the end of the world. Your business is not the world. It is a thing you are doing that
yeah,
every day you have the opportunity to just figure it out. And
yeah,
that's definitely where I've gotten to. And I don't, while sometimes I'll struggle with the big decisions, it's every day I tell my team there have been moments where I'm alone in my office, like, how am I gonna make payroll? How am I gonna pay the rent this month? And we always figure it out, and I tell my team that too, like, I'm pretty honest with them about the money side of the business because I want them to learn, I want them to understand what we're working towards, but, yeah, it is just a business, and while I love my business,
sure.
if you can figure out how to separate the emotion from it a little bit and just make the next right choice, do the next right thing,
Yeah.
even if you've effed it up, you can fix it.
You can have another business. Like there's so many
Mhm.
things about business that are like life-giving, joyful, exciting. You
Mhm.
can fix, rectify, etc. There are lots of experiences I think many of us have had personally that are not like that. We
Mhm.
will not get to go rewrite the story, fix the thing.
Right.
We didn't have control over it. Somebody else made choices for us, whatever. That's like a
Mhm.
whole different podcast story, right?
Yes.
But business should, in many ways, not feel like a prison or a sandbox. It's like a bubble. It's like a round thing, right? It's it's always ever changing, evolving, a gift. And with the right people around you, it should feel that way. It should feel like uh, you know, um, something that can shape shift and you can use it as a tool in your
Mhm.
life to be what it needs to be to help serve your personal story
Yeah.
versus be some kind of trap or some kind of um um I don't know, negative thing. It is hard. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying there aren't moments that are hard, but I think that it is businesses are built to serve people and customers and not the other way around. And when it gets the other way
Mhm.
around, then that's I think to me a sign that like, hey, you got to reevaluate
Mhm.
and move forward. But I do think the small business owner is the easiest because it is our life because we're small. There aren't
Mhm.
500 people.
Right.
We're the chief everything officer.
Mhm.
It can be really easy for that to get heavy versus it being this lighter kind of joyful thing, which is why we got into it. We did not get into
Yeah.
this thing to be a slave to it.
Right. Your business is a tool to provide for your life, and
Right.
it's liberating if you can shift your mindset a little bit
Yeah.
to that instead of your business being your life. Business is a
Right.
tool for your life.
Right. It's a gift. It should
Mhm.
bless people. It should bless
Mhm.
you. It should bless other people. And there are times where it's going to bog you down and the business is going to require and ask a lot of you. I mean, it is going to
Mhm.
demand a lot of you, but that is also the fun of it. Like I
Yeah.
think business is I love this book called The Road Less Stupid. I cannot believe it's only
I
$20.
have that book. It's on my desk and I haven't read it
Oh my God, I'm
yet.
obsessed with it. It's just a bunch of questions, but it's
Mhm.
such a good book. And I mean, a lot of the things about that book are questions and things that it sort of ask you. But oh gosh, what was I going to say about the book? What were we talking about? About
Your business, we were talking about your business
being
serving
a
you and
tool, being a
being a tool.
blessing.
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come to me. I have his quotes all over, like Kenneth Cunningham. I have his quotes all over my office. It's just such a good book because it asks you so many great questions and it helps you kind of understand like the purpose of your business, what you're doing with your business.
Mhm.
But I
Do
think that you'll love it.
do you think people get too emotionally attached to their business to where that makes them freeze because they are too emotionally invested in it? Or do you feel like there's an argument for like how much you separate the emotion?
I don't know how you can be like not emotionally attached to it. I mean, I don't know. It's like at least this kind of business. I mean, like in that book you'll read, he's like an investor owner of like multiple
Mhm.
businesses, right? He's in a different role than being like a true small business owner. But um I don't know. I guess there's something different than maybe emotional attachment versus loving it. I mean, like anything you're going to give this much energy to, I think you have to like love it and enjoy it.
Mhm.
Oh, this was the quote. He talks about how business is an intellectual sport.
Mhm.
That's why I love it. Like, I am not athletically gifted, okay? Like, I can dance, but hand-eye coordination is not my thing. But I love that it's an intellectual sport. I think it's so fun, and that's
Mhm.
why I love my team because I feel like we were doing, like, a group project in school where we are crushing it. Like, we would be the top team. Everybody when you're at, like, a
Mhm.
group project and somebody was, like, not pulling their weight? It's
Mhm.
so annoying,
Mhm.
but that is not our group. Like, our team is,
Mhm.
like, somebody's, like, did extra homework, somebody was working on the weekend, they have a good idea, and that's, like, my life. That's my real life.
Mhm.
And I get to do that like all day, every day. And it is so cool and fun and interesting. And yeah, sometimes our team is like struggling because somebody's got a sick kid or whatever. But to have a group of people where everyone's like invested in moving forward and it is like truly an intellectual sport because you're trying to put deals together or figure stuff out or
Mhm.
the mar- the government shut down, so you're trying to figure out like how do you work with that in real estate because that's
Mhm.
a complexity, right? But you're still moving forward,
Mhm.
but it's almost fun because it's a puzzle.
Yeah.
That is the mentality, and that book talks a lot about that, but you need a whole lot of stuff, and he says, like, "Look, passion does not help you in and of itself win at any
Right.
sport or any game. It's great. It's gonna give you a little oomph,
Mhm.
but you must have the tools. You must still
Mhm.
actually be, like, the
Mhm.
best to win,
Right.
and there are certain things in business you must understand, you must be able to do, you must be able to deliver to win. So, yeah, the passion's good, and yeah, you have to be able to emotionally detach, but you still also have to have like just the straight up fundamentals to run a
Mhm.
successful business year after year after year.
Yeah.
And I think that that's part of it that, like, I guess back to your question about newbies, like, learn how to run a business.
Yeah.
Like, it's a business. This is not a
Uh-huh.
hobby. This is not a passion project.
Mhm.
You actually do have to know how to do things
Mhm.
like, understand cash flow, read
Well,
your
and I think that's
P&L.
what I mean by the
Yeah.
separating of the emotions from it,
Yeah.
because the things that really push a or help a business be successful is are not emotional decisions. They are like you do
Yeah.
have to understand your P&L, you have to understand cash flow, you have to understand how to pay your taxes, you have to
Oh
understand.
god, please understand your taxes. I mean, half of
Yes.
his book is just about taxes or
Yeah.
like owning land. One of his quotes is like land eats 3 meals a day. Like if you have raw land, you're just sitting on land. Like you buy land thinking it's a great investment or something
Mhm.
you're going to do something or understand like your debt. Like you take a loan, you understand like you PG a loan. Like
Mhm.
what does that mean? They can call your loan.
Mhm.
Can you afford that? Like do you understand how that works? And
Mhm.
if you become a partner in a business and you create a partnership agreement, do you understand how that works? Can you read it? What's a buyout? What if the person dies?
Mhm.
I don't know. What if you get into business with the person you're married to and that doesn't work out? Like
Lord.
this stuff
We're
happens,
about to
right?
have a whole podcast episode just about that.
Yeah, estate planning, like very
Yes.
important questions that um are big girl and big boy stuff about running a business. Like
Mhm.
the business fundamentals have to be there. That's like step 1. And a lot of us don't
Mhm.
have that because we come into business because we just love
We love a thing.
we
Yes.
love a thing.
Yes.
Okay, you love the thing. Now you got to get into the business fundamentals, which a lot of people just don't enjoy, which is where you can hire, get support, get consulting, get
Mhm.
mentorship, whatever. But then the bottom line is like, and this book talks about it as all good books do, your CPA, your attorney, they're not you. You live with those decisions. So if your CPA guides you wrong, your attorney, whatever, in the end, it all rises and falls on you. You got to live with
Mhm.
those decisions, with those choices. If you've been in business as long as I have, at some point you're going to run across one of these vendors who didn't do a great job. And you're going
Mhm.
to get to live with one of those, choices, decisions, things
Mhm.
that you signed that maybe you didn't fully understand. And you're like, God, I should have asked more questions. Yes, you should have. Now we have Chat GPT. So that's like helpful. But we didn't
Yes.
have that 5 or 6 years ago. Um, and not that that's, solves all problems, but like ask more questions. You are not dumb. You're not an expert
Mhm.
in all of these things. It's okay to ask. And having
Mhm.
friends who have gone before you, who have other businesses, is
Mhm.
also so, so helpful. And also just like things like, oh, how do you buy a car with your business? Like, what are appropriate business write-offs? Like, there are things that I just didn't even know about
Mhm.
in the very beginning that now, like, I have so much more knowledge and information on. I knew more about real estate than most people, but leasing commercial property or purchasing commercial property or 1031 exchanges and all the kinds of things that you can do
Mhm.
once you start making money in, you know, your business that are very cool.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, if your friends are only folks who don't own businesses, they are not going to want to geek out on that over brunch.
Right. And so all of this comes back to the importance, the necessity, it is imperative that you build a framework of people around you that know more than you,
Yes.
and that you can ask these questions, and that you can say, "Hey, how do I learn this piece of it?" You can't lean on your friends to be your business professional, like, professor, right? But it's so important to have people around you that you can say, "Hey, how do I learn this?" Or
Yeah.
"Where do I go to figure this out? How did you figure it out? What do you do?" I feel like there's so much that I don't know yet, and I know 5 million more things than I did 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
the well is just so deep of things that you still need to learn and grow in. So, the importance of learning the basics in the beginning, but then don't stop there. You still have to
Yeah.
continue to grow and learn and find the resources, and that all comes back to who are you surrounding yourself with?
Right. Yeah.
Who are you
And
learning from?
like we did the thing with the Inspiration Lab where we've had a small business squad on and off for women who own businesses. And in the small business squad that we've kind of done programming with twice, two people had an MBA in the whole group of all the women who owned businesses. And they
Mhm.
still said, even when I got the MBA, I wasn't running a business then. So it didn't really click.
Mhm.
I'm not knocking an MBA. I mean, I
Mhm.
have a master's degree in social work, which I think in many ways maybe serves me better because
Mhm.
I feel like um, I've gotten, in many ways, a bit of an MBA through just like going through the life experience. I'm sure
Mhm.
there's some advantages to that, but I think that many of us are learning on the fly. We're
Mhm.
learning as we're doing. And when you got to give yourself grace because when you look back, I mean, I'm like, I did not know anything, really anything.
Mhm.
Truly, I didn't know anything. And I've learned so much. I cannot imagine how much more I'm going to learn. I think that's so exciting.
Mhm.
And I love hearing how other women and other businesses are doing things. I want to know, like, hey, why did you make that choice? What are you doing
Mhm.
with this thing? What can I learn from you? And also hearing from my other friends' mistakes. That's really helpful too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and they're willing to share. And what a gift that is,
Mhm.
to just learn from each other. Like, let's all not do the same thing.
Yeah.
If you did that thing or you tried this and that wasn't a good experience, like, please, like, do
Tell me.
tell.
So I don't do
Yeah.
that. Oh, I think mistakes are a painful but amazing way to learn.
They're a huge gift. They're a huge
Mhm.
gift. And I
Mhm.
think that, what I'm learning right now is like really, I didn't really understand. Like, trust your gut is such a hard phrase because I'm always like, I don't know exactly what that means. But I've been watching a TV show, which is really good. And there's some kids in the show and they're showing the kids sort of telling the parents that they feel scared. And when you're a kid, you feel things. You just do what your parents are going through, whatever. And I
Mhm.
remember, when my parents were going through their divorce, I would always feel things before they would tell me. I just
Mm.
did. You
Mhm.
can't not feel things when you're a kid.
Mhm.
You just can't suppress them. And you don't question it either, though. As a kid, you just know you're feeling things. So you blurt it
Mhm.
out or you tell people, or even if you suppress telling people, you still feel it.
Mhm.
That's what trust your gut means. We just have turned it off a lot as an adult. But
Mhm.
kids have tap into it naturally. They even when they don't
Mhm.
want to.
Mhm.
It's getting back to that. It's figuring out how to get in tune with that thing again,
Mhm.
even though you can't really fully explain it. And so watching the acting on this show has been amazing because they've done a great job of showing how the kids are picking up very early on the dysfunction in this house and everything that's happening. And I'm like, that's it. That's the connecting to the piece of like, hey, we don't have to explain everything. You don't always have to know why it is that you're feeling this way, but that is a gift, and especially I think if you've had some trauma or difficulty in your childhood, you were probably more tuned to it,
Mhm.
have a little more practice with it, and that actually is a gift in business. And You don't need to squash that. You need to like tune the frequency into that and
Mhm.
see what you can gather from that. Because yes, it is an intellectual sport for sure,
Mhm.
but it is also a sport of emotional intelligence, reading people,
Right.
figuring out how you want to grow your business, what
Right.
is the right move for you.
Right.
Even if everybody says, "Oh, that's not the right location or that's not the thing to get into right now." Like if you know that it is, then you know that it is. Period. Like
Mhm.
you just need to
Right.
go in that direction. Like
Mhm.
trust yourself. Like if the business is already successful and you're a few years into it, there's evidence that you're already doing
Right.
appropriately.
Right.
Like lean into that. That has been
Mhm.
so hard for me to like build a muscle for that, which may not be obvious on the outside looking in, but it is. Because I really seek mentorship a lot
Mhm.
and I really love to get feedback, but feedback can be very confusing if it's in conflict with what
What you're feeling
is
and what
your
you
inside
know.
is saying, especially if your
Mhm.
inside is saying stuff that is very outside the box or no one else has done it before.
Mhm.
If you don't see other people doing what you're hoping to do, that can be very discouraging because it can feel like,
Mhm.
yeah, well, why me? How could I possibly do this? Especially when other
Mhm.
people are saying, well, that out loud to you. Why do you
Right.
think you're special? Why do you think you can do that?
Mhm.
I mean, that is a hard thing to then fight against.
It is.
Um, but if you know inside that it makes sense, like you just got to listen to that.
Well, yeah, that's the only way, like, innovation and new things happen is for people to take risks like that and go against the grain. There's so much about business that is based on rules and laws and, things that are concrete, but you have to take those rules and laws and concrete thing and kind of let them form around humans,
Yeah.
right? Humans don't always follow laws
Yes.
and rules and things, and you kinda have to adapt what you know to be true to whatever the circumstance is and to the people that you're working with and the environment that you're working in, and
Right.
that's a challenge.
And I think what I'm trying to say is like the newest experiences I've had in the past year and a half, I would never had if the projections of other people, like you can't do that or you're already doing too much, or you will ruin your career if you pursue these opportunities seriously
Mm,
to my face. These opportunities for growth. I wouldn't have done it if I took that advice from people I respected. Um, that's hard. Like that is a hard thing to sort of think, okay, well, like why would they tell me that? I think they care about me. Why
mhm,
would somebody tell you that if they didn't have some wisdom, you
mhm,
know? But I also there were like just too many like intriguing doors. I just couldn't help myself. I was like, you know
mhm,
what? I'm just gonna have to walk through this. And those people who are telling me those things, I was like, let me look at the fruit in their life. Like there's a biblical concept, right? Of like look
mhm,
at the fruit that somebody's
mhm,
like life is producing.
mhm,
I'm not saying those trees were dead. I'm just saying like the tree didn't have like billions and billions of apples coming off the tree. Do you know what I
mhm,
mean? And I was like, okay, if they had super fruitful lives and they were doing tons of stuff and they were still telling me, like, I don't think you should do this, that would be one thing. But they weren't. And I
mhm,
was like, I'm already doing a ton of stuff and I'm juggling a lot of things and I'm willing to put some stuff aside to explore new opportunities.
mhm,
So I'm going to walk through that door. So I think you have to look at the advice that you're getting from people and the quote unquote wisdom you're getting from people and ask, are they speaking from their own, like their own fears, their own projection,
mhm.
their own, lens? And does it translate to you? And if it does, that is maybe more room for caution. But if it doesn't, go through the door. See what's over there.
Right.
Check it out.
Mhm,
Because you have to look at the evidence. You have to look at, I guess, maybe the credibility of the people who are giving this advice, especially when you're early on, but even when you continue in business. You still get a lot of pushback and friction as you try to do new things because people want to keep you in the parking spot you've been in
right.
because they're comfortable with you being in a parking spot
Mhm,
or two.
mhm.
Because even me having the inspiration lab and being a residential realtor, people already have a hard time with those two things. Like if you want to layer on a third thing, that's like, whoa.
What are you
They're like,
doing?
you're gonna be the whole parking lot. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Well, and if you can really wrap your head and your heart around the fact that if you do something new and it fails, so what? we'll just do something else. It's okay.
You don't have to come in this parking lot. It's
That
fine.
that is part of that freedom that you can find if you can just take take information from people, take wisdom from people, take advice from people, but you have to measure that against what you know about yourself, what you want for your future, and just say yes to things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think I've always thought of myself as teachable because I really do want to be teachable. And that is also how you grow your network is you reach out to people who you really admire and you ask them to teach you. And they tell you to read a book, read the book. And
Mhm.
then you get a follow-up meeting. If you don't read the book, you're not getting the follow-up meeting. Like you have to
Mhm.
do what they tell you to do. They ask you to read a article, they ask you to watch a TV show, like, they will tell you to do stuff, they always tell you to do stuff.
Mhm.
You need to do it, and then you will get the follow-up meeting. They're very busy, it's hard to make time to get to know these people. So that's what I'm saying, when they tell you, "Caution, don't pursue this," whatever, they give you some kind of words of wisdom, it can be hard, um, but it's also, I think, an opportunity to grow and frankly, as you grow, it helps them grow.
Mhm.
Because sometimes even as we're on our own journey, we can get blinders on too. And we need the next generation and we need
For
other
sure.
people to say, like, hey, the world's kind of different now.
Mhm.
There are no boxes, there are no lanes. The cars are kind of flying and driving themselves.
Mm. I
Like,
had my first experience with, um, cars that drive themselves when I was just out in California, and
wait, did you get in one?
no, I
Oh,
did not. No, they freaked me out. No, I couldn't, but they
yeah.
were everywhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't get in one. I'm not ready
No,
for that yet.
but they're a thing, so it's like how you gotta adapt to
I know.
the speed of the cars coming next to you that don't have drivers. It's wild, but yeah, it is life and business is such a balancing act of trust and fear and taking risks, but being calculated at the same time. Like, it's wild, the mental gymnastics you have to do
Yeah.
to make every decision.
Yeah. Another book is really great, Thinking in Bets. I don't know if you read that by
I
Annie
have not.
Duke, but
Mm-mm.
she's a poker player, but it's very much about learning to think in probabilities, like probability
Mhm.
versus possibility.
Mhm.
That and The Road Less Stupid are 2 books I literally return to all the time. Like, I carry them around. They're dog-eared.
Mhm.
They're great. They're 2 really super helpful books.
Okay. I'm gonna take The Road Less Stupid. It's actually propping up my computer monitor so it's at the right height. So I'll take it out and actually read it now.
So good.
I saw him speak
You did?
at a Tony Robbins event that I was at one time and got the book and that, but I haven't read it yet. So
Yeah. I can't believe it. It should be like $5,000 or something.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna read that. I am so inspired by you
Thank you.
to increase my network, to keep learning, to keep growing, to keep trying new things. I think probably people look at my life and say, I've tried a bunch of things and I have, but I would just want to keep going, just keep trying things.
Yeah. Isn't that the whole point, right?
That is the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
YOLO.
Yep. I remember the reason I got into business for myself one time is because I had a really terrible experience with an employer. And I told myself that I would never let somebody else put a limit on my life
Yeah.
and a limit on my growth and my earning potential and all of those things. I was just tired of having being put in a box. And so
Yeah.
I will never go back there. So I want to keep pushing myself outside of I don't want to limit myself either,
No.
you know? So
No. It's exciting. It's
mm,
exciting to see what's possible.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah. This is so fun.
How can people find you?
It should be really easy to find me if I'm doing my job right. Should just be able to type in my name. Um, I think I'm at Steph Lanier Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to
Okay.
find me. Yeah.
Okay. And does the Inspiration Lab have socials too?
Yes, we're at the Inspiration Lab for Instagram, I think.
Okay.
Yep. I
All
think
right.
there's a the, but also should be pretty easy to find as well. So yeah,
Okay.
they can just Google, check us out. We should be
Yeah.
around and pretty easy to find. And we love to have people come to our events. We have some events coming up this fall. We'll have an event in January that's a goal setting workshop that's really
Amazing.
fun. Women sit around in tables that are in circles and yeah, plan out their year. And we've had people dream up writing books and they've done it and start businesses and they've
Oh,
done
I
it and
love
want to
that.
get married and they've, not that don't come saying you can get married. I can't guarantee you're gonna like find your spouse, but they found besties. Like if you
Mhm.
sit down and you're intentional,
Mhm.
just to like get together with somebody and say,
Mhm.
like a group of women, and just say like, this is what I hope will happen this year. It just
Mhm.
helps so much to say it out loud.
Mhm.
Actually get a plan together.
Mhm.
It's brilliant. It's fun,
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, we'll be doing that in January.
Well, everybody find her, go to her things. We'll put links and things in the show notes for
Yeah.
sure. And we'll try and link the books as well.
Yeah, they're great books.
Well, thank you, Stephanie,
Thanks.
for your time. Thanks for joining me on Business from Scratch. Follow the show for more honest conversations about building a business that works for you.